Hi, welcome back to Your Neighbor's Real Estate. How's everybody doing?
We're fabulous.
We're good, yeah.
We're even better because this is our first day where we have a guest.
So we have Karl Miller in the
Karl Miller's in the
house.
house. He's a local Lynchburg agent. Not just an
Turned
agent,
broker.
but yeah. So Karl and I met when we were both just agents.
Probably, man. It was a long time
No.
ago.
Karl and I met when I wasn't an agent.
We had a mutual friend, Chris Good, I think was my mutual friend.
Stop it, that's right. And I was
Yes.
doing a party for him.
That's right, you were. And I had seen you at Jimmy's on the James
Correct.
singing a time or two before that. Back when
Yes.
Jimmy would play piano.
Yes, and then I would play piano, but then Karl, because he's such an incredible agent, does these yearly get-togethers for all of his former, current clients, maybe future clients, and that's what he called me up one day and was like, "Hey, I want you to perform for my client appreciation." I was like, "For real?" Yeah, and there's a photo out there still with Karl's logo, and I'm standing in front of it.
That's right. That was fun.
We would have to dig some of this stuff out. So this is where Karl and I go. So long story short, I think I was still teaching university then and performing, and then I got my license.
Yes.
And we were in Dalton together.
That's correct.
Yeah.
For
Yeah. And you were there for 9 years.
I was there a long time.
Yeah. 2012 to 2021.
I got my license in 2005, started out at a firm, moved to another firm, franchise
Here in
firm.
town?
Yeah, both of them.
Okay.
Yeah. And then in 2012 is when I moved over to.
So wait, you,
Yes.
I don't even know Karl like this. So wait, you lived through the mortgage
Oh,
crash.
absolutely.
So, yeah,
Like, is that it? I was like, tell us about that
He
mortgage
was
crash.
totally in a crash.
How was that for you? Because you would have been a newer agent too.
You know, I got a coach very soon after I got into the business. I had a real estate coach that I hired, and that was the best move ever. To invest in yourself, to have a coach,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
And one of the things that he taught throughout that whole process of the Great Recession, as we know it now, the huge
The great real estate
was
business.
there are opportunities everywhere, and it's Nordstrom's is having a sale, houses are on sale, and don't participate in their sale. We can't control what happens in Washington. We can't control the economy. We can't control what the real estate market does. The only thing we can control is the 6-inch market, he called it, and that's the market between our ears.
I love
And I really, as a new agent, just took it to heart. I just soaked up everything he said, and I just really decided not to participate in the recession in that way. To the best of my ability. I mean, obviously the market was terrible.
Right.
But you know what's funny is now as a new agent, and I got licensed in 05, so 06 was my first full year, and the market was still pretty good here.
Good, yeah.
We didn't really feel the horrible effects of the Great Recession until 2010 and 11 here. It started about 08 or 09 because we were behind what happened. But I want to just say that, and I shared this with the agents in my office the other day, that when you're in a recession, there's all these negative voices. If you turn on the TV or the radio, or you open up any phone news article on your phone or newspaper, if you can still read newspapers.
I actually do.
We do.
I did too, actually. I did too. It's funny, I love to hear that. But anyway, I'm a paper, I'm a book.
It's just
guy.
at my house.
read
Right.
It's just I love somebody that Sunday coffee and paper would carry
But
on.
all that stuff is just negative voices, right? And we can control what we put in our head. And so I share with my staff how in that hard time, looking back, I mean, I was naive, I didn't know. But looking back, and I don't, this is what happened. There's just numbers.
No,
numbers.
right.
I tripled my business from 2007 to 2011. And I just refused to participate. And so as we
That's
go into
amazing.
another shift in the market right now,
Yeah.
there's a lot of negative voices out here. That doesn't take away from the fact that people still want to be in a home.
Right.
A home is not a financial, it's not like a 401k or a stock. This is where people live and where their emotions are, where they make memories.
Yes.
And people don't have a roof over their head. People want to live indoors.
And interestingly,
Yeah.
like you said, in each
Yeah.
market there's opportunity.
Definitely.
And we are a rental shortage.
Oh,
So
there's such a shortage.
there's such an opportunity to
Yes.
introduce new first time, like that's what I tell the people in my agency where I'm like, look, whenever a door closes, the rush is done.
Yeah.
Then another door opens. There's a new market that is capable now. They were not, the first time home buyer was incapable for the last 2 years.
Right.
Incapable.
It's going to be tough for buyers. I mean, housing's more expensive than ever. First time we've ever had high interest rates,
And
high prices, and low inventory. Usually when the prices are higher, interest rates are high, there's a lot of selection for buyers. It's the first time in a long time probably ever, that we've had high rates, high prices, and very good selection.
It's also just January.
It's goofy.
and-
It's
yeah,
goofy.
It's Christmas just happened.
But the point is that for home buyers, home sellers, the opportunities are there. There's people who want to buy, there's people who want to sell, and we, as real estate agents, I think sometimes we miss what we're really doing. People talk about real estate agents, and they don't understand the real job of a real estate agent, and that is really to help meet somebody's needs who, by the way, the majority of the time is going through a major life change, emotional, but there's another emotional event attached to a move, almost always. People get married, people get divorced, people get born, babies get born, people die. There's job relocation.
Sickness,
So,
illness.
yes,
Yeah.
or there's the opportunity, we're gonna move our kids to this school district. So there's almost always a move is fueled by another emotional event going through his lives. And I think sometimes we get so caught up in the square footage of a house or the things that are wrong with the house, and we are missing completely what our calling is, and that's meeting people's emotional needs and help solving their problems.
Yeah, problem solvers.
Yes.
Well,
Yes,
yeah.
I love Carl.
All of that.
Yeah.
Do you remember a moment when you said, I want to be a broker? Like, was it just the next step naturally?
Like from a real estate agent to become
Yeah.
a licensed broker. I think what was driving me more than becoming a broker was and I was at a brokerage where I had no complaints at all with my broker. I love where I was at, but I was renting space, and I wanted to become a commercial property owner because I saw some of my friends who got into the real estate space, and then their real estate, the office that they had bought, the real estate became more valuable than their business. And so there's two things that kind of happened. One was my eyes got opened a little bit. Now, again, I don't think this is happening now, but a few years ago, one of my friends got an offer from another brokerage to buy his brokerage, and it was a substantial number. And so I kind of started shopping the market a little bit, the value of my team. Now, I had a team, but the marketplace on the broker level doesn't value teams. They don't put a number on the value of the team, even though my database, but by all of a sudden just changing the legal structure of an entity and making it now brokerage.
Yeah.
All of a sudden the marketplace values that. Now, again, I don't think there's brokers out here just acquiring other brokerages as much today as it would have been 6 years ago.
Good shift again.
But still, I just wanted to have that value add for myself. Not that I'm planning on selling, but I just wanted to have that asset. But then I also wanted to own real estate. So I made the shift because I had an opportunity to buy a piece of property, and it was in a commercial corridor, and I had to get it rezoned, and that was a full process. I took a risk. It was a risk. It was a calculated risk, but it was a risk.
His
I
place, have
overpaid
you
for
seen
it.
it?
I painted it.
Chad painted the
Painted the
outside. Yes. He made
That's
it.
how I met Carl.
He made
That's
it
how you
great.
guys met?
That's how we met.
So, like, I felt like,
We had a mutual
I
friend.
think that we did.
Yeah,
And I know your
so-
brother.
Yeah, and you know my brother
He's
from
an ultra
running. Yeah.
And so I kind of knew who you were.
Yeah.
And I think you had done this. I don't remember the name, but you had done a painting job for one of my past clients too.
Oh,
So
that's
I knew
too
who you
funny.
were.
Yeah.
More than,
Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of connection.
A very good,
So-
meticulous pro. And then he painted my house before I moved as well.
that's
After I moved
I
out.
forgot about that one. Yeah. So.
I'm over here going, what?
No, that was after you painted my house.
Yeah.
I was literally about to say, his office looks amazing.
Right,
Like, it's
yeah.
like this really cool color.
Yes,
Like,
Chad did
That's a
that.
great office.
Chad did
Great
that.
office space. So.
He's got seen it many times.
Dude, many.
Yes.
So when I looked it up, and this number could be different now, do you have 12 agents with you?
There are 12, and there's actually a few more. I have 8 or 9 that are actively selling. And the reason that you see 12 on the roster is because I have some licensed assistants.
Right.
Yeah.
Full-time assistants who are
Absolutely.
licensed, and they may, work with some clients, evenings and weekends, but their primary job is to be support staff. But I got some of my staff licensed just because I didn't want to have any legal.
Sure.
Have I not tried to?
Because Erin in my office was unlicensed for years and years, and then she would draft documents that would always go through me, and I'd click yes or
Right.
Yes,
Erin is tweet
yes.
yes, so everything came. And I just realized she knows just as much or more than I do, and let's just
Make you
shortcut the
legitimate.
process a little bit.
Yeah.
So that was,
Right.
and I also didn't want to be accused of having an unlicensed assistant doing licensee work, so
Right.
Yeah.
just more from the league, so
That's fair. So then now that you have it, you made this shift, you
Yes.
saw an opportunity. where's the vision and the growth for that? Like, where do you see?
Where's your future?
Yeah, like, where do you see? Because I know you also have the satellite.
We do. We have a satellite office in Alta Vista. There was a broker who'd been down there for 42 years.
Wow.
He was in his 70s. He just decided to shut his doors and cold turkey. And I asked him, do you want to just stay on? Do you want to be a referring agent? And he said, if I keep my license, I will get sucked right back in. I need to just shut it down. And he was literally going to just close the doors. And he had 2 agents, long-term agents there.
Yeah.
And they needed a place to hang their license. And they talked to several brokers in town. And I was so honored that Marie and Lady chose me, or our firm, I should say.
Yeah.
So we have a little satellite office in Alta Vista. We do have a presence there. Alta Vista is a small town, and Marie and Lady have just great relationships
That
there.
explains. So I see Karl Miller signs running up and down 20. I'm like, how's it
Yeah.
all the way out here?
Yeah.
So
Good
they're
for
just great folks. But the vision, I don't have aspirations to be the biggest broker in town or anything like that. We really want to create awesome experiences for our clients.
Yeah.
And if I could just say, like, our clients are just the heartbeat of our business, our past clients. And Renee mentioned singing at or performing at one of my client appreciation events. And, you know, we ever since 2006, I've hosted just client appreciation events because I'm in business because of those relationships. And what's awesome about deepening and building relationships and staying in touch and staying in touch and staying in touch is that if you continue to add value, you can't outgive the community.
Mm-hmm.
And the community just continues to give back in the form of introducing us to their family, friends, and coworkers who are looking to buy or sell homes. And so that's really how I build my business. It's not fancy marketing. I mean, we do marketing. We have a marketing budget.
Yeah.
But honestly, it almost seems like no matter how much money I spend in marketing, it comes back in the form of referrals. And so we're looking at that. What's the highest and best use of our dollar? But back to your question, we want to provide just a really great transaction for our clients all the way through. And if that means that we can grow to 20 agents, that's great. But if we stay right where we are at 12 agents, you know, that's fine
Happy
too.
there too.
Yeah, I'm not. To me, having a quality people and a quality experience for our customers, for our clients, that's the most important thing. And I love to be profitable too. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, yeah.
I want to be. I mean, the money keeps us in business. I mean, so it's one thing to say I want to give a gift, but the reality is that our clients keep us in business.
Right.
Yeah.
And as long as our clients keep us in business, then that empowers us to not only keep adding value to our clients, but then also to add value to other organizations in town.
Sure.
We love to support the Lynchburg Symphony Orchestra, which you just performed in.
Yeah.
It's a great job at the Christmas concert today.
Did you go?
Of course.
Oh.
I brought my parents. My parents came down from Augusta County, Virginia.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we had the whole, we had 8 of us on the top row of the balcony.
No way. Like you're staring out into the light, you can't see me.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I've always noticed that performers don't look up into the second, and I get why.
I try to
I
because
understand.
if you look down, like
Yeah.
it's an interesting, but I really
Yes.
try to stare into the light.
Yes.
It's like cars coming at you.
I get it. Yeah, no, I get it.
Ah, but it was, that was
What
such
a
a
beautiful,
fun
what a
show.
beautiful concert. It was fun. It was
Oh, wow, that's so great.
So much fun.
Yeah.
Was. I'm gonna put you on the spot. You've been in real estate for 15 years.
Yeah.
Was there a transaction that was really special to you that you can?
He's like, do I have to have
You
one?
are.
Right? I mean, I'm sure there were many. But
Yeah, you are putting those. We had one just last summer that I think was just awesome the way it all came together. And essentially, there was a lady who had a health issue and unfortunately had to abruptly leave her house. And unfortunately, family's hours away. And it was a beautiful farm, but it got overgrown. I mean, it was quite ugly when I got down there. And long story short, I won't even get into all the details, but we were able to save this thing from going into foreclosure with some very persistent phone calls. Literally, I mean, we were 2 hours away from this auction happening. We had it under contract, but the bank was moving forward. And just through some very persistent phone calls, literally 90 minutes before the auction was to occur, they called it off. And we were able to
Save her house.
we were able to get the bank to pull back, got the deal closed. She had, long story short, we got her some cash in her to take care of her in a less than ideal situation.
Right.
And so, and again, it was just a testament to my assistant Aaron, who stays on top of all these details. And it was just crazy in that situation when we found out about this, and we didn't know that it was going to foreclosure until just like 72 hours before.
No, because we're not always privy to
Yeah.
the banking. Yeah.
Yeah, and what's interesting about the banks is the right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing.
Never.
And so it was, so that's one, I'm trying to think, I mean, there's always emotional moments, you know, you think about moments in housing and there's always emotion attached. And for me, there's a lot of joy in being able to help a client get where they want to go, you know, walk them through the overwhelming process of selling. Like we just, you know, we worked with a widow lady recently and she was moving out of state and, you know, she's got 40 years of stuff and it's very traumatizing for somebody who's lost their spouse and they're in a house by themselves.
Right.
All the stuff and all the china and it's just overwhelming. And just be able to walk people through and get them connected with movers and getting connected with other professionals who care. You know, it's not a transaction,
Not a
it's
dollar.
a care. Yeah.
Right.
And so it becomes just, you build lifelong friends when you meet people's emotions, things like that.
Yeah. That's what we always say. And we're like, you're not clients, you're friends.
That's great
Yeah.
philosophy. Yeah.
You're not clients. Well, if you don't end up a friend, then
Yeah, and not everybody will.
No, that's
I mean,
okay.
that's the, I mean, here's the thing, all people are created equal, but not all business relationships are created equal.
Right.
And so there's some that are more challenging than others, and understand, but you gotta understand, again, when we talk about earlier, the emotional need, not only are they dealing with an emotional, life-changing event many times, now you're dealing with people's biggest asset, like the largest purchase a lot of Americans can make, you're dealing with hundreds of thousands of dollars. So now there's money involved, and
stress,
we
the
know,
level of stress.
if you and I took $100 bills and just stacked them up on this table, and there's, you know, $200,000 of cash on this table,
Yeah.
there's an emotional element to, oh my gosh, there's $200,000 cash. So our clients are dealing with
With that
emotion when there's,
emotion,
I mean,
yeah.
and it's just dollar bills, but when you're dealing with
No, but it
money,
represents
there's
a marriage and
emotion.
a family and
Correct.
it actually is
And-
memories. It's not dollars.
Exactly, and then when you're dealing with people's money, they work hard for that money.
Yes.
And so anytime there's a piece of them there that's attached to money. And so, you know, so there's a lot of moving parts.
You have a fun job.
We do. And it's also a lot of psychology sometimes.
I said that.
Right.
We said like in
Yeah.
real estate, we're like we used to joke that we're gonna put like hats on the wall, all the different hats on the wall. Like,
I like
so
that.
like today, like Chad would be like, Chad, put your psychology hat on today. Emotional breakdown on.
Yeah.
Like
And people don't see that, you know, sometimes. I think a lot of people misperceive what we actually do. They
paper
see
pushers.
us, they see us show up and showing a house and
Right.
earning a commission check. And so sometimes that's our fault for not showcasing the value of what we really do. And, you know,
well,
behind
and there
the
probably are
scenes.
people that do just that though. Like, you know, that's,
Unfortunately, there are.
and that's so the perception is built off of maybe some of those moments. But that's like you said, also being like very upfront about where the value of this job is. Like I'm not opening a door.
Right.
I'm walking you through one of the greatest things you're ever going to do in your life. And,
And by the way, that's a life-changing moment. When
Yeah.
somebody signs those papers and they get the keys to their house, or they hand the keys over. I mean, you think about moments in your life that are life-changing. Anytime, almost always, a move will make a highlight reel in somebody's life.
you know the photos after the close in front of the
Yeah.
house. Like
Right.
it's a like you want to talk about social media. It's a social media moment.
It is.
And it's big. Like Stephanie, the lender you tend to work with, she always says, she's like, I'm not going to be there probably won't see the birth of your first kid. May not make it to your wedding, but I will be there for when you close on your first house.
There you go.
But she's like identifying these monumental moments. And
That's
like,
great.
this is just as monumental as those things. And thank you for letting me be part of it. You know,
Absolutely.
like, yeah.
That's great.
Piece of advice for a newer agent
Brand new ones
sorry.
coming in this crazy
coming in.
time.
Yeah. Your relationships are your best asset. I mean, it's really easy to get a realtor's license. It's really easy. It's really hard to build a real estate business. And I think sometimes there's all this shiny object syndrome just being pushed at real estate. If any realtor ever goes to the National Association of Realtors, it's the greener grass syndrome. Every single booth has this stuff they're selling.
It's going to make your
All
life
this
better, easier,
technology,
happier,
And there's
greater.
all this tech being pushed. But the reality is that when people are dealing with their biggest asset, like a home sale or home purchase, this is from the National Association of Realtors. 84% of agents, people will choose a realtor based on somebody they already know and trust, or a referral from a trusted friend or other source. So 84% of business is being done by a referral. So it's huge. So it's a relationship. And so your best asset as a new agent is the people you know already, and then just going and deepening and making new relationships so that, and staying in front of them, so that when that person hears real estate or hears moving or hears my house is too small or I hate my landlord, something inside their head triggers and they think of you. And honestly, it's best to start with your family and your closest friends, but build that network. Your relationship network is your business. That's what you gotta do. My best advice: tap into those relationships. Let everybody know that you're doing this as a career. You know? And be patient. It takes time. If I was a brand new agent today, and I had this conversation with my wife the other day actually, that we were talking, we went skiing in Utah over Christmas, and we're just joking about, man, it's so pretty, if we just moved out here, you know, having those conversations in that market.
In that dreamy, like,
in the snowy after skiing.
packs it all up and just.
And I said, if I were to move out here, I would look up the best realtor in the city, and I would team up with him. There's no way I would launch by myself. I would team up with somebody who's already got relationships, who's overwhelmed with work, learn from them. I would be willing to give up 70% of my commission to learn the neighborhood, learn from the best, and learn that culture. And I think as a new agent, especially there's so much team culture now, just team up with somebody who's good, you will get on the fast track to your career so much faster than you will ever get on your own.
I think sometimes the hard thing too when they're new is that you start to see how much money you can make and don't realize that sometimes it's sacrificing, like you said, sacrificing some of that earning on the front end see it as an exchange of education.
You're playing
that the value, that there's your value. Like if you're hustling for that 3%, I want that full 3%. Like you're gonna have that 1 and 2 deals a year. Versus.
And when I started, again, it was a recession, but I counted the payment really, really hard. I mean, I was a hard worker. I had a construction business before I got into real estate, so I had people, I had relationships already. But even then, it took me year 4, my 4th full year before I hit over 35 transactions in a year. Okay. Working, grinding every day.
In a challenging market too.
And I brought on an agent to my team last year, and you know, he sold 35 homes in his first year. But it's because you know, so the volume can be quickly accelerated if you're working with somebody who's a producer who has the networking relationships already. So that's new agents. Latch on to the best agent in your office or in your town. Work really good and hard to, well, yeah, seriously. I mean, Renee has that influence. I mean, she is a major player and producer in this town.
And you are as well.
And yeah, I mean, so if you don't latch on to somebody, just learn from the best. It'll accelerate your career so much faster than trying to do this on your own.
I think one of the things I've noticed with newer agents, trying to encourage them in that way, is that they really you have to want to have the drive. Like you could teach somebody, like with that guy that got the 35 houses, there was still a hustle that he had.
No doubt.
Like and so I think agents come in sometimes and think, oh, I'm going to team up with Karl Miller, and like somehow, you know, some magic is going to fall on them because they've sat them up next to you. It's not.
Great point.
It's not so magical. Like you got to work. Like, and so I feel like I get new agents and I'm like, this is what we need to do, and then 7 days go by and they don't do it. It's like, well.
Yeah. The other thing new agents need to do is they need to get the mindset that they are a business owner. Like there's no paychecks coming. You are a business owner, and everything you bring home, you got to go out and find it and kill it and drag it home. I mean, you got to drag it home. And if you're not out there,
there is no Kroger for really kids not going to get your.
No, and so you got to get into that mindset that I am a business owner. And the other thing I would just say on the financial side is immediately set up an LLC or set up at the very minimum, set up 2 bank accounts. Commission checks go to 1 bank account. Pay yourself a salary.
Things I did not know.
No, things that we just did last year.
We just did this last year. I got an account. He's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I don't know."
But just kind of getting that mindset that okay, the commission money goes into this account. I pay my expenses out. I have business expenses. Save for taxes. Taxes are huge deal. No fun getting hit with a $10,000 or $20,000 bill.
I also say though, man, how great if you're getting hit with that bill, because then that means you earn really good money.
Yes, but again, if you don't put it away, it's a bad day. So then just pay yourself a salary out of that, and there might be some times when you can't pay yourself a salary. It happens to me, and at that point can be a feast or family business. So you want to get to the point where you have stability though, and that's the other thing. A lot of realtors have no idea. You know, you ask them at the end of the year, how was your year? Oh, it was great. What does next year look like? I have no idea. and so they have no idea and they have no plan.
Yes.
right? So again, get a mentor, have somebody who's got some experience that can walk you through coming up with a plan.
Right.
And here's the thing, at the end of the day, you're right, you can't control the number of transactions. You can't control how many sales we're gonna do this year, but what we can control. So in other words, a sale is going back to the new agent,
Yeah.
a sale is a lag indicator of the work you put in. So a lead indicator is how many phone calls you make, how many people you get for coffee, how many people are you gonna intentionally have a conversation with about your business, and how many people are you gonna add to your sphere of influence, your relationship list. Those are things you can control.
Yeah.
But what you can't control is how many sales. So the sales are just a lag indicator of the work you're putting in.
That's right.
Yeah.
No, and that's why they call it, like, you build that funnel, okay? And then,
Yeah.
and the way as a newer agent, because I've not been in nearly as long as Karl, but you know, when I was starting, I recognized that like the work I was doing on week 1 of a year, I might not see it come to fruition until that summer when people tend to want to buy and sell.
That's
And
exactly.
then all of a sudden that summer was snowballing and I couldn't
Right.
breathe. And it's like I was dreaming of the times when it was slow. I was like, oh no. But that's because I worked every day
Yeah.
like it was the same day. There
So-
wasn't a
You just came up with higher quality problems. I mean, when you start out, your problem is I need a client, and then you get a client, and then the problem is, oh my gosh, the home inspection went sideways. So you always want to be as an agent getting higher quality problems. And if you're having bigger level problems, that means you're growing.
You're growing because the growth only comes with pain.
Right.
So
Well, the thing is that, you know, the problems that you have now, and I knew we were all snowed under last summer.
Yeah.
And the market was so fast. That's a high quality problem to have as opposed to, oh my goodness, I have nothing going on, I have nothing to do. So, yeah, so if
It's
you
like-
have higher quality problems,
that's where you want to go. So the
Yes.
goal at the beginning of 2023, I would say
Yeah.
to any agent,
Right.
work today for the
Yes.
snowball that's coming
Yeah.
and just keep going
I-
until.
My mentor, you know, coach coming in with Brian Buffini, he talks about planting seeds.
Yeah.
And you're just out there, you're planting seeds, you're throwing seeds out there, and some of them are going to hit fertile soil and grow and create a crop for you, and others never will. So you know, but you're right, you get that phone call, and then the problem, the challenge, okay, how can I stay in touch? How can I fertilize that seed, water that seed, so that in 6 months from now,
This is the miss of that metaphor. I tell new agents, I'm like, but you can't sit on the porch and look at the field and just be like, so when's it gonna grow?
absolutely.
It's like, did you even till it? Like, you can't just sit there drinking
Exactly.
coffee and hope the thing's gonna grow. Like,
Yeah.
so I joke with people because I think there is that mentality that somehow this is like what cash cow. And it's like, no.
And sometimes, honestly, sometimes too, it takes time to build trust. You know, some people, I mean, because one of the questions I like to ask people is, hey, how many homes have you bought or sold, you know, in the last, you know, in your life? And okay, what were those experiences like? It's just a very, very telling, because you'll get those kind of, so some people have the greatest experience with the best realtors in the land, and others have had horrible experiences, right? So you want to kind of get what your client's frame of reference is, so that, again, you can meet the emotional need.
You may not know this, but I'm actually an agent because I had a horrible first time home buyer.
Oh, wow.
You were the listing agent. I just remembered this. You were the listing agent for my home.
Good for you.
Horrible.
I
That had
remember.
nothing to do with you.
Yes. Yeah.
He was the
Sure.
listing agent,
Right,
but
that's what
my
I'm saying, so, yeah.
but my buyer's agent and the whole process was an absolute nightmare.
There you go. And so after that, you're like,
Oh,
I can do this.
listen, so this is how it felt. I was really busy with music and teaching, and I was like, okay, so this person, I believe in paying people. So like this person's getting paid to do a job I don't know how to do and don't have time to do.
Right.
And they flubbed their whole, like I literally thought I could have done this myself.
Yeah.
So the whole reason I got my license was not to do this. I just thought, I'm gonna get licensed because I'm smart and educated, and I'm just gonna sit it on a shelf so when I go to sell,
Mhm.
I'll just handle this myself.
I did not know that.
Yeah, because that's
This
the
just works with
whole
anybody.
reason.
Well, Karl, thank you so much for joining us today. It was really fantastic.
We loved having you.
Chad, Renee, thank you so much for the opportunity. And hopefully this is a value add for your client, for your listeners and viewers, and we're here to be a value add. I think at the end of the day.
We are.
We just said we rise because we help others rise.
That's so true.
Here we are.
So thank you, Renee. Thank you,
Yes.
Chad, and thanks
Yeah.
for all the value you're adding to the Lynchburg.
Yes.
as well.
Absolutely.
Cheers, guys.
See you next week.